Welcome in, everyone, ready to unlock some serious persuasion power. We're diving deep into copywriting today, specifically with AWAI. Those copywriting training gurus want to see what makes their approach tick, what they've got figured out.
And the cool part is this isn't just for like sales letters or anything. It's email, presentations, even just how you talk to people every day. It's about getting your point across, making things happen.
Persuasion with a purpose, right.
Yeah.
And honestly, who couldn't use a little more of that? One thing that really struck me digging through these AWAI materials is how often businesses just miss the mark. They fall into this trap.
You're talking about features over benefits, right? Classic mistake.
Totally. I was reading this example of boring B2B copy. Painful.
Well, oh yeah, I think I remember that one. Like reading a company's dull LinkedIn profile or something.
Exactly. It was all like integrity, reliability, durability, established in 1960. It's like, okay, so you've been around the block. Maybe you don't cut corners. Great. So what? Help me out here. What's in it for me as a customer?
See, that's the magic question RWAI wants you to ask. So what? Sounds almost too simple, but it cuts through all that noise to what your audience actually cares about.
It's like when your friend's describing something excitedly and you got to be that person who's like, okay, but what does that even mean? Not to be a downer, but you need that extra layer to really get it.
And that's what this so what does. Puts you in your audience's shoes. AWAI has this great example. It's something about vets using a blood analyzer.
Okay, vets in tech. I'm already listening.
So you're a vet, right? Looking at this new analyzer, the company might say, boom, results in 7 seconds. Sounds fast, sure.
But here comes the so what.
7 seconds, so what?
You got it. So what? Well, faster results means vets can diagnose critical cases right there. No more sending samples to a lab, no more waiting.
Okay, now we're talking about something way bigger than just speed. This is impactful.
Exactly. And it goes even further. So what if vets can diagnose quicker? Potentially, more pets' lives are saved.
Now that's a benefit that hits home. Way more powerful than just, hey, it's fast.
Night and day, asking, so what? Again and again, you go from listing features to painting a picture of what those features actually mean for the customer.
And that works even outside of marketing, you know? Imagine a sales pitch. Even just explaining why you're stoked about a new movie. You're not just listing things, you're telling a story that actually connects.
It's a small shift in how you think, but it makes all the difference in how your message lands. So we've uncovered the so what gem. What other treasures are buried in AWAI's persuasion treasure chest? Let's talk about emotions. That's where things get really interesting.
And it's not as simple as you might think. Most folks assume persuasion is all about fear and greed, the basics. AWAI challenges that big time.
Oh yeah, they have that whole list of emotions copywriters can use, right? How many was it, like 37?
You got it, 37 copywriting emotions, and some are pretty surprising.
All right, you've got me curious. Hit me with a few of these curveballs.
Well, forget just fear, greed, or even hope for a second. AWAI digs into things like curiosity, vanity, even benevolence.
Okay, now things are getting interesting. So it's not just about pushing people's buttons for a sale.
Not at all. It's about understanding what truly drives human behavior. It's about weaving those insights into your writing so you can connect with your reader on a much deeper level.
It's like choosing the right spice to make a dish unforgettable, not just edible. But with 37 emotional flavors, how do you know which ones to use?
That's where understanding your target audience is crucial. AWAI talks about this thing called the primary emotion.
So no one-size-fits-all approach. It's about tailoring it to the specific group you're talking to.
Exactly. Like if you're writing for a luxury car brand, you might tap into emotions like pride, exclusivity, maybe even a little envy.
Because everyone wants that feeling of success that comes with a brand new car.
Right. But writing for a charity, you'd shift gears completely.
Go for compassion, empathy, that sense of making a difference.
You got it. You need to pinpoint that primary emotion that will really resonate with your audience. Then you craft your copy to evoke that emotion, authentically, of course, and ethically.
Okay, I could see how understanding this whole emotional landscape is crucial for writing copy that really works. It's more than just words, it's about getting people.
Exactly. It's like this emotional intelligence that's valuable for copywriters, but honestly for anyone who wants to be a better communicator.
So we've got the so what technique. We've dipped our toes into the world of copywriting emotions. What other tools does AWAI have up their sleeve for persuasive writing?
They're big on understanding the customer journey. The idea that persuasive writing matters at every step of the way, not just at the very end when it's time to make the sale.
Right. I remember reading about that. Something about becoming a skilled, in-demand copywriter in 4 weeks or less. Catchy title.
Definitely a mouthful. But the idea itself is actually pretty simple. Persuasive writing isn't just about that final push to get the sale. It's about using compelling content to guide the customer through every interaction they have with your brand.
So it's less about the hard sell, more about building a relationship.
Exactly. Think about it like dating. You wouldn't just walk up to someone and propose marriage, right?
I hope not. That would be a little intense.
Exactly. You take your time, get to know each other, build trust. Customer journey's the same way.
Okay, I like that. But how does that actually look in the world of copywriting? How do you use it to build those relationships?
Well, AWAI breaks it down into 5 main project types: ads, landing pages, emails, blog posts, and then finally, sales pages.
Each one with a specific role in moving the customer further along that journey.
You got it. Ads, they're like that initial spark, getting attention.
Then landing pages are like the first date. You got to make a good impression.
Exactly. And emails, think of those like phone calls or texts, getting to know each other better.
Keeping the conversation going, sharing interesting stuff, building that connection.
You got it. Then there's blog posts, more like casual hangouts, sharing your personality.
And finally, the sales page, that's like popping the question. All or nothing time.
Exactly. But here's the thing. By the time you get to that point, you've already built something. That ask feels natural, not pushy.
Okay, I love that analogy. So we've got these stages, but how do you actually write copy that works at each one? What's WAI's secret sauce?
Storytelling.
Storytelling. It's amazing how a good story can grab you, make you feel something, even change your mind.
Right. AWAI is all about weaving stories into the body copy, makes it more engaging, relatable, and ultimately way more persuasive.
So it's not just about hitting them with facts and figures, it's about bringing those ideas to life.
Exactly. Like, they use this example of Puptastic Naturals. They sell all-natural dog treats.
Dog treats, already on board.
Right. So instead of just listing ingredients, they tell the story of the founder and her dog, Sparky.
Gotta love a good dog story.
Right. They talk about how Sparky was a picky eater, sensitive stomach. The founder was frustrated with the lack of healthy options.
So they tapped into a relatable problem. Every dog owner wants what's best for their furry friend.
Exactly. By sharing that personal story, they created an emotional connection. They're not just a company, they're fellow dog lovers who get it.
That's smart. It's like those About Us pages that tell the company's story. Makes you feel like you're supporting real people.
Exactly. And there are so many stories you can tell. Personal ones, customer stories, even the history of your product.
It's about finding those threads that will resonate with your audience, pull them in.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, people buy from people. Stories bridge that gap,
Wow.
They create genuine connections.
So we've got the customer journey, the power of storytelling. What other nuggets of wisdom does AWAI have for us today?
Well, they're big on headlines.
Ah, the headline. That first impression, make it or break it moment. It's gotta grab you.
Exactly. And they have this checklist, the 4 U's of a good headline.
Ooh, I love a good acronym. Hit me.
It needs to be urgent, unique, ultra-specific, and useful.
Urgent, unique, ultra-specific, and useful. I'm taking notes. I can see how hitting all those would make a killer headline. Got any real-world examples?
Sure, imagine you're writing about starting a freelance writing business. Instead of something generic like, learn how to be a freelance writer, which is kind of bah.
And not very inspiring.
Right. You could say, quit your day job and launch your dream freelance writing career in 60 days guaranteed.
Okay, now that's a headline. It's urgent, there's a time limit, it's unique, promises something specific. It's ultra-specific, lays out the time frame and a guarantee. And it's useful, it's offering a solution to a problem people actually have.
You got it. The 4 U's, they make you stop scrolling, and they actually make you want to know more.
So we've got the 4 U's down. What other headline hacks does AWAI have in store?
The curiosity gap.
Ooh, sounds juicy. Tell me more.
It's like that tune in next week feeling. You give them a taste, a hint, but hold back just enough to make them crave the whole story.
Classic cliffhanger. Works every time.
Exactly. With headlines, it's killer. Instead of saying, the 5 best productivity hacks for freelancers, how about this one weird trick will 10x your productivity guaranteed?
Okay, I'd click that. First one's informative, but the second, that's intriguing. What's the trick? Will it really work? Got to know more.
Exactly. That's the curiosity gap working its magic.
Like a mental itch you have to scratch.
All right.
So we've hooked them with the headline. Now what about the rest of the copy? What about the actual writing itself?
AWAI has this great story from a copywriter, Marcella Allison. It's in one of their transcripts.
Oh, yeah, she was talking about a campaign for some kind of health supplement, right?
You got it. At first, they were all about the technical stuff, the ingredients, the science, but it wasn't working.
Too dry, probably.
Exactly. So they switched gears. Instead of the technical jargon, they focused on a problem their audience, older women, actually faced. A real problem.
Which was?
That thing they called dowager's hump.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's something women are really sensitive about as they get older.
Exactly. And by addressing this head on, in a sensitive way, of course, they finally connected with their audience. The dry, technical stuff couldn't do that.
So it's about tapping into real pain points, things people are insecure about, things they desperately want to fix, and then positioning your product as the answer.
Exactly. Meet your audience where they are, talk their language, address their needs and concerns, make it real for them.
It's like that saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Absolutely. And Marcella, she said something really interesting. Don't be afraid to let your personality shine through. Be passionate. Make the reader feel something.
Get rid of that corporate robot voice. Bring back the human element.
Exactly. People buy from people and people connect with emotion. And, one of the things AWAI emphasizes is that this whole customer journey thing isn't just about marketing. It applies to internal communication, even personal relationships.
Wait, really? I thought this was about writing website copy and stuff. Tell me more.
Think about it. Every interaction you have with someone is a kind of journey. You're trying to get them from point A to point B, whether that's getting them to approve a budget proposal at work or convincing your partner to try that new ramen place you've been raving about.
Okay, now that you mention it, I can see how persuasive writing skills would be helpful in those situations.
Exactly. A WAI's approach can help you frame your message in a way that resonates with your audience, whether that's your boss, your colleagues, or your significant other.
So how do we apply these copywriting principles to, say, a work presentation? It's not like I'm going to start telling stories about my dog Sparky in the middle of a budget meeting.
You'd be surprised. Storytelling can be incredibly effective, even in a corporate setting. But you're right, it's about adapting the principles to different contexts. With a presentation, for example, instead of just diving into data and bullet points.
Which, let's be honest, can be pretty snooze-inducing.
Exactly. Start by painting a picture of the problem you're trying to solve or the opportunity you're trying to seize.
So it's like setting the stage, creating that emotional hook right from the start.
Precisely. Then, as you present your ideas, don't just state the facts, explain why they matter. Use the so what technique to connect those facts to tangible benefits for your audience.
For example, instead of just saying, our sales are down 10% this quarter, I could say something like, if we don't address this 10% drop in sales, we risk missing out on key growth opportunities that could impact our team's bonuses and the company's overall success.
Now you're speaking their language. You've taken a dry statistic and turned it into a relatable story with real stakes.
I like it. It's about making your audience feel something, even if it's just a sense of urgency or a renewed sense of purpose.
Exactly. And that's what persuasive communication is all about, connecting with your audience on an emotional level and motivating them to take action.
So whether we're writing a website copy, crafting an email, or even giving a presentation, a WAI's approach can help us become more persuasive communicators in all areas of our lives.
Exactly. It's about understanding the psychology of persuasion and then using those insights to craft messages that resonate, inspire, and ultimately get results.
It's about tapping into the power of so what.
And don't forget those 37 emotions.
You're right. We've only just scratched the surface of that emotional treasure trove. I'm curious to dive deeper into some of those unexpected emotional players, like curiosity, vanity, and benevolence.
And I'm happy to oblige. Let's take curiosity, for example.
Okay, curiosity killed the cat.
Yeah.
But it also sells the product, right?
Exactly. Curiosity is a powerful motivator because it taps into our innate desire to learn, explore, and discover.
It's that feeling of, I need to know more, that keeps us glued to our screens, scrolling through endless feeds of information, right?
Precisely. And in the world of copywriting, you can leverage curiosity to pique your reader's interest and make them crave more information.
So how do we do that? Give me some concrete examples.
Well, one way is to use open-looped headlines or questions that create a knowledge gap in the reader's mind. For example, instead of a straightforward headline like, "The benefits of meditation," you could go with something like,
This one weird meditation technique will change your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now you've piqued their curiosity. They're wondering, what is this weird technique and how will it change my life? They have to click to find out.
It's like dangling a carrot in front of a rabbit or a juicy worm in front of a fish.
Exactly. And once you've hooked them with a curiosity-driven headline, you can continue to reel them in with teasers, cliffhangers, and intriguing questions throughout your copy.
It's about creating a sense of anticipation, a desire to uncover the hidden gem of information that awaits them.
Precisely. But curiosity isn't the only emotional ace up our sleeve. Let's talk about vanity for a moment.
Ah, yes. Vanity. That little voice inside all of us that wants to look good, feel good, and be perceived in a positive light.
Exactly. And while some might see vanity as a negative trait, in the world of copywriting, it can be a powerful tool for persuasion.
Because everyone wants to feel confident, attractive, and successful.
Yeah, exactly. And by tapping into those desires, you can create copy that resonates deeply with your audience. For example, let's say you're writing copy for a luxury skincare brand. Instead of just listing the ingredients and their benefits,
Which, let's be honest, can sound pretty clinical and boring.
exactly, you could focus on the emotional benefits of using the product. You could talk about how it will make their skin look more radiant and youthful, how it will boost their confidence, how it will make them feel like they can conquer the world.
It's about painting a picture of the life they could be living, the person they could become if they just use this product, right?
Exactly. And by appealing to their desire for self-improvement and social validation, you're much more likely to make a sale.
Okay, so we've covered curiosity and vanity. What about benevolence? That one seems a little trickier to wrap my head around.
Benevolence is a powerful emotion because it taps into our innate desire to make a difference, to help others, and to leave the world a better place than we found it.
It's about appealing to our better angels, so to speak.
Exactly. And while you might think that benevolence is only relevant for nonprofit organizations or charities, the truth is that you can incorporate it into copywriting for almost any product or service.
Really? I'm having trouble imagining how that would work for, say, a company that sells, I don't know, athletic shoes.
That's a great example. Let's say this athletic shoe company partners with a charity that provides shoes to children in need.
Okay, I can see where you're going with this.
Exactly. Now, when they're writing copy for their shoes, they can highlight this partnership and emphasize that for every pair of shoes purchased, they'll donate a pair to a child in need.
So not only is the customer getting a great pair of shoes, but they're also contributing to a worthy cause.
Precisely. It's a win-win situation. The customer feels good about their purchase, the company boosts its sales and enhances its brand image, and children in need receive the gift of footwear.
So even in the seemingly cutthroat world of marketing and advertising, there's room for a little bit of heart and soul.
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, people want to feel good about the products and services they buy. And by tapping into emotions like benevolence, you can create a sense of shared purpose and make your audience feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves.
And that's a powerful thing.
Indeed it is. And the beauty of these 37 emotions is that they're not mutually exclusive. You can often weave multiple emotions together to create a truly compelling and persuasive message.
It's like those chefs who can take a handful of seemingly disparate ingredients and turn them into a culinary masterpiece.
Exactly. It's all about understanding the flavors, so to speak, and then combining them in a way that tantalizes the taste buds. Or, in the case of copywriting, captivates the reader's mind and motivates them to take action.
So, we've explored the so what technique, delved into the surprising world of copywriting emotions, and uncovered the power of storytelling. What other gems of wisdom does AWAI offer to help us craft copy that converts?
Well, one of their key insights is the importance of understanding your audience's pain points and then positioning your product or service as the solution.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
People are more likely to buy something if they believe it will solve a problem they're facing. But how do you go about identifying those pain points in the first place?
That's where good old-fashioned research comes in. AWAI recommends spending time getting to know your target audience inside and out. Read industry blogs and forums, follow them on social media, pay attention to their questions, concerns, and frustrations.
It's about becoming a bit of an anthropologist, immersing yourself in their world and trying to see things from their perspective.
Exactly. And once you have a good understanding of their pain points, you can start crafting copy that speaks directly to those needs and desires.
So instead of just listing the features and benefits of your product or service in a generic way, You're tailoring your message to resonate with their specific situation.
Precisely. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're writing copy for a productivity app. Instead of just saying, "Our app helps you get more done," you could say something like, "Feeling overwhelmed by your to-do list. Our app helps you prioritize tasks, manage your time effectively, and finally achieve that elusive work-life balance you've been craving."
Okay, now that's a message that's going to resonate with a lot of people. It speaks directly to their pain points, feeling overwhelmed, struggling with the time management, yearning for work-life balance, and positions the app as the solution.
Exactly. By addressing their specific needs and desires, you're much more likely to capture their attention and convert them into customers.
So it's not just about selling a product or service, it's about offering a solution to a problem.
Precisely. And that's what makes a WAI's approach so effective. It's not about trickery or manipulation, it's about understanding your audience, building trust, and creating a win-win situation where everyone benefits.
It's about using the power of words to make a positive impact.
Exactly. And that's a skill that's valuable in any profession, in any relationship, in any area of life.
So whether we're writing website copy, crafting an email, or even just having a conversation with a friend or loved one, AWAI's insights can help us become more persuasive and effective communicators.
Absolutely. It's about understanding the psychology of persuasion and then using those insights to craft messages that resonate, inspire, and ultimately get results.
It's about tapping into the power of so what.
And don't forget those 37 emotions.
You're right. We've only just scratched the surface of that emotional treasure trove.
Well, I'm happy to delve deeper into a few more of those emotional powerhouses if you're up for it.
Absolutely. I'm all ears.
Great. Let's talk about nostalgia for a moment. It's an incredibly potent emotion, especially when it comes to marketing and advertising.
Nostalgia, that warm, fuzzy feeling we get when we think about the good old days.
Exactly. It's that powerful yearning for a simpler time, a connection to our past, a sense of comfort and familiarity.
I think that's why we're seeing so many brands these days tapping into retro trends and bringing back products from our childhood.
Exactly, because nostalgia sells. Think about it. When you see a commercial for a product you used to love as a kid, it instantly brings back a flood of positive memories and emotions.
Like those commercials for old school cereals or toys. I swear they're targeting my inner child.
Precisely. And those positive emotions can translate into a higher likelihood of making a purchase.
So how can we, as copywriters, effectively tap into this potent emotion?
One way is to use language that evokes a sense of nostalgia, whether it's through vivid imagery, sensory details, or cultural references that resonate with your target audience.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Imagine you're writing copy for a brand of classic board games. You could use phrases like, "Remember those epic family game nights filled with laughter, competition, and unforgettable memories," or "Bring back the magic of your childhood with these timeless classics."
Okay, I could see how that would tug at the heartstrings.
Exactly. You're not just selling a board game, you're selling a portal to a simpler, happier time.
A time before smartphones and social media, when families actually spent quality time together.
Precisely. And that's a powerful message, especially in today's fast-paced, technology-driven world.
So, nostalgia is a powerful emotion that can be effectively leveraged in copywriting. What other emotional gems can we uncover from AWAI's treasure chest?
Well, let's talk about a feeling that often gets a bad rap. Guilt.
Guilt. Isn't that a negative emotion?
It can be, but like all emotions, it can be used for good or evil. And in the realm of copywriting, guilt can be a powerful motivator when used ethically and responsibly, of course.
I'm intrigued. Give me an example.
Sure. Let's say you're writing copy for a charity that rescues abandoned animals. You could use phrases like, "Every day, countless innocent animals are abandoned and left to fend for themselves. Won't you open your heart and your home to one of these deserving creatures?"
Okay, I can see how that would evoke a sense of guilt and responsibility in the reader.
Exactly. It's about appealing to their sense of compassion and making them feel like they can make a difference in the lives of these animals.
It's about tapping into that innate human desire to help those in need.
Precisely. But it's important to use guilt sparingly and ethically. You never want to make your audience feel ashamed or manipulated.
Right, because nobody likes to feel like they're being guilt-tripped.
Exactly. It's about finding that delicate balance between appealing to their emotions and respecting their intelligence.
So, guilt, when used responsibly, can be a powerful tool for persuasion. What other unexpected emotions can we add to our copywriting toolkit?
Well, let's talk about a feeling that's often associated with luxury and indulgence. Envy.
Envy. Isn't that one of the 7 deadly sins?
It's true that envy has a bit of a negative connotation, but it can also be a powerful motivator.
Mm.
Think about it. When we see someone else with something we desire, it often makes us want it even more.
I guess there's a reason why keeping up with the Joneses is such a common saying.
Exactly. And in the world of copywriting, you can tap into this innate human tendency to create a sense of desire and urgency around your product or service.
So how do we do that without being overtly manipulative?
It's all about subtlety and suggestion. For example, let's say you're writing copy for a luxury travel company. Instead of just saying, experience the ultimate in luxury travel, you could say something like, imagine yourself sipping champagne on a private balcony overlooking the Eiffel Tower, while others are stuck in crowded tourist traps.
Okay, I can see how that would create a sense of envy and exclusivity.
Exactly. You're not telling the reader that they need to book a trip to feel superior to others, but you're subtly suggesting that those who do are part of a select group of discerning individuals who appreciate the finer things of life.
It's about creating that I want what they have feeling.
Precisely. And that's a powerful motivator, especially when it comes to products and services that are seen as aspirational or status symbols.
So, envy, when used strategically and ethically, can be an effective tool for persuasion. What other emotional nuances can we learn from AWAI's approach?
Well, let's talk about a feeling that's often overlooked in the world of marketing. Fear of missing out, or FOMO, as it's commonly known.
Ah, yes, FOMO, the scourge of the digital age. It's that feeling of anxiety and inadequacy we get when we think we're missing out on something fun, exciting, or potentially life-changing.
Exactly. And while FOMO is often associated with social media and the constant barrage of perfectly curated lives we see online, it's actually a primal emotion that's been around for centuries.
Because on a fundamental level, we're social creatures who don't want to be left out of the loop.
Precisely. And in the world of copywriting, you can tap into FOMO to create a sense of urgency and scarcity around your product or service.
Because nobody wants to be the last one to know about the latest and greatest thing.
Exactly. For example, let's say you're writing copy for an online course that's only open for enrollment for a limited time. You could use phrases like, don't miss out on this exclusive opportunity to transform your life, or join now before the doors close forever.
Okay, I can see how that would light a fire under someone who was on the fence about signing up.
Exactly. By highlighting the limited time nature of the offer, you're creating a sense of urgency and scarcity that can be incredibly persuasive.
It's like those countdown timers on websites that make you feel like you need to act now or miss out on a great deal.
Precisely. And the reason it works is that it taps into our innate fear of missing out on something valuable.
So FOMO, when used strategically and ethically, can be an effective tool for persuasion. What other emotional nuances can we learn from AWAI's approach?
Well, let's talk about a feeling that's often associated with creativity and innovation. Inspiration.
Inspiration, that's a powerful emotion. It's what drives us to create, to innovate, to make a difference in the world.
Exactly. And while you might think that inspiration is only relevant for artists, musicians, or writers, the truth is that you can incorporate it into copywriting for almost any product or service.
Really. I'm having trouble imagining how that would work for, say, a company that sells, I don't know, vacuum cleaners.
That's a great example. Let's say this vacuum cleaner company has developed a new, innovative vacuum that's not only incredibly powerful, but also environmentally friendly.
Okay, I can see where you're going with this.
Exactly. Now, when they're writing copy for their vacuum, they can highlight not just the practical benefits of the product, but also the story behind its creation.
So instead of just saying, this vacuum sucks up dirt and debris like a dream, they could talk about the engineers and designers who were inspired to create a product that would make a difference in the fight against climate change.
Precisely. By sharing the story of how the product came to be and the passion and inspiration that fueled its creation, they're not just selling a vacuum cleaner, they're selling a vision, a belief, a set of values.
They're appealing to the customer's desire to be part of something bigger than themselves.
Exactly, and that's a powerful thing because people don't just buy products or services, they buy into stories, they buy into emotions, they buy into beliefs.
So even in the seemingly mundane world of vacuum cleaners, there's room for inspiration.
Absolutely, because inspiration is everywhere if you know where to look for it. And as copywriters, it's our job to uncover those inspiring stories and share them with the world.
It's about using the power of words to not just sell products or services, but to inspire, to uplift, to make a positive impact on the world.
Exactly. And that's a pretty amazing superpower to have.
I completely agree. So we've explored the so what technique, delved into the surprising world of copywriting emotions, uncover the power of storytelling, and discover the importance of understanding our audience's pain points. Are there any other gems of wisdom that AWAI offers to help us craft copy that converts?
Well, one of their key insights is the importance of writing with clarity and conciseness.
Right, because nobody wants to wade through a wall of text.
Exactly. In today's fast-paced world, people have shorter attention spans than ever before, so it's crucial to get your message across quickly and effectively.
So how do we do that? What are some tips for writing with clarity and conciseness?
AWAI recommends using strong verbs, active voice, and short, punchy sentences.
It's about cutting to the chase, right?
Yeah.
No fluff, no filler, just pure, unadulterated persuasion.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to use white space to your advantage. Break up long blocks of text with headings, subheadings, bullet points, and images.
Because a well-designed page is more inviting to read, right? It's like the difference between a cluttered, overwhelming store and a beautifully merchandised boutique.
Precisely. And when it comes to copywriting, readability is key. If your copy is difficult to read, people will simply click away.
So clarity and conciseness are essential for crafting copy that converts. Any other tips from the AWAI playbook?
Another important insight is the power of social proof.
Social proof, that's the idea that people are more likely to do something if they see others doing it, right? Like how we're more likely to try a restaurant if it has a bunch of 5-star reviews.
Exactly. And you can leverage social proof in your copy by including testimonials, case studies, and data points that demonstrate the effectiveness of your product or service.
So instead of just saying, our product is amazing, I could say, 9 out of 10 customers saw a 20% increase in productivity after using our product.
Exactly. Numbers don't lie. And when you can back up your claims with concrete evidence, it adds credibility and persuasiveness to your copy.
It's about showing, not just telling, right?
Precisely. And social proof is a powerful way to do just that.
So we've explored the so what technique, delved into the surprising world of copywriting emotions, uncovered the power of storytelling, discovered the importance of understanding our audience's pain points, and learned the value of clarity, conciseness, and social proof. Are there any other gems of wisdom that AWAI offers to help us craft copy that converts?
Well, one of their key insights is the importance of having a strong call to action.
A call to action, that's the part where you tell the reader what you want them to do, right? Like, click here to learn more, or sign up for a free trial today.
Exactly. And while it might seem obvious, you'd be surprised how many businesses fail to include a clear and compelling call to action in their copy.
So what makes for a strong call to action?
AWAI recommends using action-oriented language, creating a sense of urgency, and highlighting the benefits of taking action.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Imagine you're writing copy for an online store that's having a sale. Instead of just saying, "Shop our sale now," you could say, "Don't miss out on these incredible deals. Shop now and save up to 50% on your favorite items."
Okay, I could see how that would be much more effective. It's specific, it's time-sensitive, and it highlights the benefits of taking action.
Exactly. And when it comes to calls to action, clarity is key. You want to make it crystal clear to the reader what you want them to do.
Right, because if they're not sure what to do next, they're likely to just click away.
Precisely. So make it easy for them. Tell them exactly what to do and how to do it.
So a strong call to action is essential for crafting copy that converts. Any other tips from the AWAI playbook?
Another important insight is the power of testing and tracking your results.
Testing and tracking, that's about figuring out what works and what doesn't. Right. Like a scientist conducting experiments in a lab.
Exactly. And just like a scientist, you need to be willing to experiment and iterate until you find what resonates with your target audience.
So how do we go about testing and tracking our copywriting?
AWAI recommends using A/B testing, which involves creating 2 versions of your copy and then tracking which one performs better.
So for example, I could create 2 different headlines for an email campaign and then see which one gets a higher open rate.
Exactly. And you can test everything from headlines to calls to action to images.
So it's about constantly experimenting and refining your approach.
Precisely. Because what works for one audience might not work for another. And the only way to know for sure is to test and track your results.
So testing and tracking are essential for crafting copy that converts. Any other tips from the AWAI playbook?
Well, one final insight I'd like to share is the importance of writing with confidence.
Confidence, that's about believing in yourself and your message, right?
Exactly. And while confidence might seem like an intangible quality, it actually comes through in your writing.
So how do we project confidence in our copy?
AWAI recommends using strong language, making bold statements, and backing up your claims with evidence.
It's about writing with authority, right? Like you're the expert on the subject.
Exactly. And when you write with confidence, it makes your audience more likely to believe what you're saying.
Because nobody wants to buy from someone who doesn't even seem convinced by their own product or service.
Precisely. So write with conviction, write with passion, and most importantly, write with confidence.
That's great advice. So we've covered a lot of ground today, from the importance of understanding our audience to the power of storytelling and the necessity of testing and tracking our results. What are some of your key takeaways from this deep dive into the world of copywriting?
For me, the biggest takeaway is that copywriting is so much more than just stringing words together. It's a strategic and creative discipline that requires a deep understanding of human psychology, marketing principles, and the art of persuasion.
It's about connecting with people on an emotional level
Right.
and inspiring them to take action.
Exactly. And when you can master that, the possibilities are endless.
Absolutely. So, to wrap up this segment of our deep dive, what's one final piece of advice you would give to aspiring copywriters?
Never stop learning. The world of marketing is constantly evolving, so it's important to stay up to date on the latest trends and techniques. Read books, attend webinars, follow industry leaders on social media. Do whatever it takes to keep your skills sharp and your mind engaged.
That's fantastic advice, because in the world of copywriting, just like in life, the learning never stops.
Exactly, and that's what makes it so exciting.
You know, thinking back on all this AWAI stuff, one thing that really struck me was how much they emphasize the ethical side of persuasion. It's not something you always hear about.
It's true. People often just assume persuasion equals manipulation, but AWAI really doesn't see it that way.
Yeah, they're big on what they call ethical persuasion, which to me sounds like treating your audience with respect, actually believing in what you're selling.
Exactly. It's about building trust, not taking advantage of people. And that's where really understanding those 37 emotions comes in. It's not about finding weak spots to exploit. It's more like
Tuning into the right frequency. You want your message to resonate because it means something to them, not because you trick them.
exactly. When you come from that place of authenticity, of respect, it shows. Your writing, it's not just words anymore, it's a conversation, a real connection.
That's a great way to put it. And honestly, that's something we need more of, don't you think? Communication that's about building bridges, not just getting what you want.
I couldn't agree more. And these principles, they apply even outside of marketing.
So whether it's a sales page or convincing your partner to watch that documentary you loved, the so what technique can help you get your point across in a way that feels right.
Absolutely. Every decision, big or small, has a chain of whys behind it. Figure out how to articulate those whys in a way that resonates. That's where the magic is.
It's about appealing to the head and the heart at the same time.
Exactly. People buy on emotion, then they rationalize it with logic later.
So you got to speak to the heart first, right?
Right. And that's what makes copywriting so powerful. It's not just selling. It's about changing minds, inspiring action, shaping the world even.
Well said. Okay, I think that about wraps up our deep dive into the world of copywriting with AWAI.
It's been a pleasure digging into all of this with you.
Me too. For our listeners ready to put all this into action, any last words of wisdom?
Don't be afraid to experiment. That's the beauty of all this. There are so many ways to approach any challenge. So have fun with it, try things out, see what happens.
Love that. The best writing comes from passion, from trying new things, and really wanting to connect with your reader.
Exactly. So write with confidence, write clearly, and write from the heart. That's what matters.
Fantastic advice. A huge thank you to our expert for taking us on this deep dive into the art of persuasive writing. And to our listeners, thank you for being here. Until next time, happy writing, everyone.